Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I am your host, Ray Goots, and I'm here with Andrew Lee Bro.
I would like
And
to be known now as Sycho Sid since I can use the name.
you could be the Psycho Bro. Breaking news, we're recording this on Monday afternoon, and Sycho Sid has just died. I don't know if he just died like today, but his son announced that he died of cancer, 63 old. Um, Obviously this episode's about Uncensored 95. Before we get into that, Andrew Lee, what are some of your thoughts about the great Sycho Sid?
Man, it's so young, 63. Cancer is it's like world champion when it comes to killing people. And Sid was like I don't know how people who didn't watch in the 90s feels, but Sid was a force to be reckoned with. I was telling my message to my friends about it, and I there was a time where I thought he kind of was crazy because back when we were in the 90s, like not like you knew wrestling was fake, but you thought some things were still real. Am I the only do you know what I'm talking about?
I kind of get what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought Sid was actually legit, like something was wrong with him for a long time. I thought like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he is kind of crazy. That's why they keep calling him Psycho Sid. But that's how believable he was in his role. I thought he did a great job. He was loved, man. He was fantastic. He knew his character, and he was the master of the power bomb, man. How did you feel about Sid?
Oh, I loved him. I mean, again, when he won the title and was kind of like getting all the love from Junior and his cronies, I wasn't watching the show as much as I do in '98 and stuff. But you can't what he had, you can't teach. What he had, you can't put in a bottle. You can have someone, and I said it before on the podcast, you can have someone fucking go to wrestling school. You can have someone study tape. You can push them to the moon. But Sid had something that not a lot of guys have. It's just raw animal charisma.
He had
And
it.
he had it. He was elite.
Yeah.
He was all elite. Would you say he no, but what I'm saying is like, like I said, like you again, you can do whatever wrestling school, fucking all that stuff. He just had it, man. And the thing about it was that like he knew his role. He I think people in the business underestimated how good he was. I think they never really gave him his fair shake, you know?
Yeah. Do you remember when we were watching these old pay-per-views? Sid was teaming with in WCW. He was teaming with Dan Spivey, and they were like the Twin Towers or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm getting that name wrong. Let's find out. But they're supposed to be heels, and Sid's pretty new in this tag team in WCW, and people were already like cheering him because he just had this unbelievable charisma. You know,
You, you,
you
you
know,
knew Yeah, you knew from the moment he was already made, and it was up to them to fuck it up. And when I say them, I say Vince McMahon, Jim Herd, Eric Bischoff, Ole Anderson, Bill Watts, and Vince Russo. It was
the
like you
skyscraper.
had this guy. Yeah, you had this guy. Vince did a lot of things I think that hurt him more than helped him. And I also think that WCW did a lot to hurt him. You know who booked him perfectly? And if they had gotten a TV deal, I could have seen him. He only had him for a few months. Was Paul E. Paul in ECW.
Mm.
Paulie booked him perfectly. And you know what? The funniest thing is that like these fucking guys. I remember reading this in 1999 in Wade Keller's newsletter. These fucking ECW guys would tell you they hated modern wrestling. They hated the muscle heads. They liked work rate. They watched New Japan tapes. They would masturbate to Dave Meltzer. And then when Sid Vicious walked out at the ECW arena, and they screamed and cried like little babies for him, because like and that's the thing. It's like you can't teach that type of like raw animal magnetism. Like everything, all this stuff. Like I like Pure So, and I'm sure if you asked him in '95, what if Sid shows up? Oh no, he doesn't have good work rate. Dave Meltzer only gave him 2 stars. I don't want him here. But everyone fucking dude, they go ballistic for him. They cheer like fucking Santa Claus is there, and I thought that little run was great, and I wish that they had done more with him in ECW. I don't know. I mean, I guess you give him the belt and he just destroys everyone. I can't see like Raven giving fucking Sid a run for his money, you know?
If you watch like Sid, if you guys are trying to understand what we mean by it and stuff, the little things do we and in wrestling, I believe they call it like the little intangible stuff. And like if you watch all the dudes who are really good, they all had it. Is like
Stop.
they weren't doing move, but they would do a move or something would happen, and the way they would just look around at the audience, make eye contact
Mhm.
with some people, the facials that they had. Hogan did it well. Randy Savage did it really well. Sid, if you watch Sid, he also was one of the guys who did it really well. You know, he had this intensity in his eyes when he was just looking around at people. And that was part of it. Like, because as the crowd's getting louder and he starts looking around more frantically, the crowd gets louder because they want to see like a power bomb. They want to see him blow up. They want to see him tag in when he was with the skyscrapers. That's what it was. It was like, we want Sid, tag him in. And Sid's
Yeah.
on the apron and he's just looking around. And when he starts looking around, it gets louder and louder, you know, until he finally tags in. It's a fever pitch. Like, that's what it was. Like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, if you watch the skyscrapers match, you'll see standing on the apron, crowd starts chanting for Sid. He doesn't acknowledge it at first, and as it gets a little louder, he starts acknowledging it. It gets even more loud, and then he starts going like, "I want the tag. Give me the tag." And people start going crazy. That when he finally tags in, they blow up, and he didn't do a single fucking thing besides tag in, not a single move. And that's
You know
what
what?
it is, you know.
You know what else I think? I think someone who owes a big and one of the best. Looking back, this is actually a really great pay per view, Survivor Series '96.
Mm-hmm.
But looking back, and I think that's the first event where you can say, if you're a WWF fan, we have a better product than WCW. Just the ratings aren't showing that. See, I'll tell you who owes a lot of love and a lot of like gratitude to Sid is Shawn Michaels, because I'll tell you one of the reasons why I never went back in. I didn't believe Shawn Michaels could beat up a big guy. And I saw recently someone posted clips of Shawn Michaels beating the shit of King Kong Bundy, looked like garbage. I saw a video of Shawn Michaels beating up Yokozuna, looked fucking stupid. Even Diesel looked up. Sid was the guy that made you believe Shawn Michaels could go toe to toe with the Hulk Hogan's and the Goldbergs and the Sids of the world. He was the guy. And that title match where Sid wins, one of the best title matches, and it was just a complete rejection of the Shawn Michaels new generation goody two shoes bullshit. And everyone was about Sid that night. And when Sid loses to Shawn Michaels 2 months later, I think that sets Shawn Michaels up as a legit top guy, as a legit force to be reckoned with. It's not going to look ridiculous if he beats up a big guy anymore, you know?
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
So yeah, Miss 63 is so young. But I'm glad I would say most people will have fond memories of Sid, you know?
Except for Arn Anderson.
Except for Arn Anderson, yeah. Yeah. Arn Anderson.
But they made up. I heard they made up.
They did make up. They did make up. And Sid, I think in previous interviews, have felt very apologetic about what happened. He was
Dude,
like, he wishes it never happened, you know?
you know what they should have done? They should have
What?
had Tony Khan missed opportunity. They should have had the Acclaim to bring out Arn Anderson and Sid, and had Arn Anderson say to him, "Scissor me, daddy ass," and then they did, and then they scissored the two of them, and then they hugged.
Yeah, unless Sid was already sick by
then. No. So so I saw a clip. This clip made me sad, bro. I saw a clip. This podcast interviewed Sid at a convention, and he said, Vince didn't like me at all. He really didn't like me. But now that they're gone, I would love to be in the Hall of Fame, and maybe I could even, I don't know, maybe like they have me under this Legends deal. Maybe I would love to talk about being a manager or like an on-air character or something. So Sid wanted to come, and I felt so bad. I'm like, man, that would have been great if Sid was Braun. Like Rick Steiner goes, I can't. I'm too busy with my real estate business. I can't help you, son. But I brought you a mentor. And Sid walked out as Braun Breaker's mentor.
Maybe I don't see him in a manager. He's too fucking big to be a manager, in my
I
opinion.
know, but I felt bad he wanted it. He did want to go back in, and I think he thought when Vince was gone, he could get away to go back in.
Yeah, that's
I
very
thought,
unfortunate. Yeah,
you
that
know,
is
the other
very.
thing, I know we say that the Hall of Fame isn't a real thing, but I think the thing about it is these guys treat it like a real thing. And I know Vader was very upset that he didn't get to do it in front of his family. And then I
Mhm.
hear Sid talk, and he's like, he wants to have that moment in front of his family. And dude, you know what? If they don't this year, if they don't do whatever the fuck they can to put Lex Luger in the Hall of Fame while he's still with us, they're fucking pieces of shit. I mean, we already know they're pieces of shit, but they're pieces of fucking shit. Like,
Yeah,
like these guys want their little fucking night, man. Why can't just give them the night?
give them the night before they pass away is basically because far
That
too many people have now passed away without getting a chance to be in it, like giving their own speech, right? Like we're
yeah.
talking about, like as you mentioned, Vader, to some extent, China, right? You know,
Like, you know, like I guarantee you Warriors family is like at least we had that weekend.
yeah.
You know?
And you know what? Like, yeah, you're right. Absolutely, right before he died, and I'm glad Bruno got in before he passed away. And
The
you're right. Like,
Steiners.
there's Macho Man. They missed out on Macho Man. They missed out on so many people.
Mhm.
Just get them in before they die. They're gonna die. Might as well just get them in before they die, so at least they can have a speech. And
Yeah, and it's like I feel like if you got the WWE title, you should just be it.
I wonder if like they don't do it because like they're afraid you're gonna talk some shit about them or something. Like while you're up there, maybe that's what it is. I have no idea.
Maybe, yeah, but I just kind of feel like do it for us. The only thing that makes this real, because there's nothing that makes this real. The only thing that makes this real is that these people and their families are happy that night. So it's
Yeah.
like if you are
Mhm.
denying these people that, so I mean, what are we gonna do? Have Sid's fucking grandkid when the kid's 20 go up and be like, oh, I guess my granddad would have liked this. Thanks a lot, everybody. You know what I mean? Like the only thing that makes it real is this: his grandkid gets to say, "Yeah, before my grandfather died, I went to WrestleMania 40 and I saw him get in the Hall of Fame. Then I saw Cody Rhodes finish the story." Like that's like the real. That's like the only thing that makes it real is that the family has like the picture on the mantle, and so it's like if you don't, and maybe it's out of spite. You like the guy, I don't know, but it's like fucking dumb, man. Just put these motherfuckers
It
in,
is.
bro.
It's dumb. Yeah, I agree, man. It's dumb, and yeah,
Don't and stop
like
doing it after SmackDown. Stop doing it after SmackDown. Rent a little fucking banquet hall the Thursday night before. Maybe have and fucking that way you can make it a little bit longer. You have the fucking Peacock network, so you don't have to edit for time, and just air it there. Put in a few more guys every year.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully, with Junior out of the way and with this
Mhm.
Sid thing happening, they start going like, you know what, we can't keep doing this anymore. We gotta get him in while we can. You know?
And they got to put in Lex. If anyone deserves it, that's left from that
Yeah,
era.
Lex
More,
exactly. Yeah,
he deserves it more than anyone. He even deserves it more than Sid. Like I hate to say that when Sid, but
but
like
who else
even
is
Kevin,
left? Who else is
you don't
left from the
think Kevin
old?
Sullivan would have been happy to have that little moment? No, he
Is
can't.
is, is Honky Tonk Man in?
Yeah, I saw him go in. I was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So, uh, yeah, I would say Lex Luger. Who else is left that hasn't been?
Demolition.
Demolition. You got to get Demolition in. I think you got to do it. You have to.
You got to
Yeah,
do it.
you got to do
Uh,
it. Is Haku
fucking
in? Is Haku in?
no, he should go in.
Haku needs to go in. Is Barbarian in
Magnum
there?
TA.
Magnum TA is not in.
No,
Is Ivan Koloff in?
that ship has sailed. I think Nikita Koloff has a better chance at this
Yeah, is
point.
Nikita Koloff in?
No.
There's a lot of guys that still need to go in while they're still alive. Actually, now that
Yeah.
we think about it, actually, there's a lot.
I'm thinking here. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I would
Um.
Nikita Koloff I would put in, right? I guess
Mhm.
Magnum TA you could put him if you want. To me, he just like didn't do much. But I think Nikita Koloff needs to go in. I think like you mentioned, Lex Luger, Demolition needs to go in. Typhoon I would put in as well. You don't want to miss out
Yes.
like you missed out on Earthquake. Typhoon needs to go in there. He's a former tag team champion. He did
Uh,
something. If Hillbilly Jim can get the fuck in there, and Tori Wilson can get the fuck in there, you can put fucking Typhoon in there. Okay.
Rick Martel. I think he told them no.
Oh my gosh, Rick Martel said no.
I think. I think he said I want nothing to do with wrestling. So what can
Mm,
you do? That's on
yeah,
him. That's on him.
yeah.
Um, let me see. But he should be in. But like, if I mean, that's on you if you don't want to go in. That's your own fucking issues. Um, let me see. He apparently knows more about the Dino Bravo
What about
murder.
Sabu?
Sabu, I would have done like a little mini ECW group, like they did with DX and the NWO last. I would have done that last year. I don't know why they didn't. I would have done that last year because you're already in Philly.
Mhm.
Sabu, Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, for all the help he's given everyone, should get like basically. Um, I feel like I'm missing someone big.
Oh,
I'm thinking
King
of
Kong
back.
Bundy's dead, right? Yeah, he's dead.
He also told them no.
Oh well. Oh, okay. And
That's
Bam
on
Bam
him.
Bigelow. Bam Bam Bigelow's also not in there, but he's dead.
I
Yeah,
know
I
he's
mean, I'm trying
dead.
to figure out people who are still alive. Actually, what about the? Oh wait, I was gonna say Midnight Express, but Bobby Eaton just died, right?
Well, no, you put Jim Cornette in, and you put no. That'll mean something to Jim Cornette, and Jim Cornette should be in. So I would do Jim Cornette, Bobby Eaton, Dennis Conroy, and Stan Lane all at once, and you let Jim Cornette and Bobby Eaton's kids accept. I think that would mean a lot to Jim
Wait,
Cornette.
is Stan Lane still alive? Stan Lane could talk too.
Yeah, but I think that would be a huge moment. Okay, Midnight Express and Lex Luger this year. Those are the top two right now in my
Rick,
mind.
you're right. Rick Martel needs to be in there as well,
Jim
right? That's
Cornette said he would go in with the Midnight Express. He wouldn't go in by himself. And I think Jim Cornette needs to be in. And I
yeah.
think the speech
I
he
think
would give,
Midnight Express needs to go in too. I really think
yeah.
Midnight Express needs to
So
go
you put them all in. You put them as one big
in.
faction.
Yeah, because like most of them are still alive, you know.
Yeah.
So
And God forbid Jim Cornette dies. People are going to be pissed that he didn't get to do his speech.
yeah, yeah. Um, Demolition, Die My Kid's Dead. Oh,
Rock
here's
and
a big
roll is
one.
in,
Here's a big
which was
one.
good.
Here's a big one. Earl Hebner.
No, that's not going to happen
Mm,
because of the scam he pulled with the merch.
yeah, yeah, I know, but dude, you gotta admit he belongs.
Oh, he belongs, but he's not apologetic about it. So
Yeah.
that scam kind of fucks him with them. I get it, but like if you I don't know, like I think you have to apologize. Maybe he'll go in the week crazier. I mean, but I can see that being a fucking
Mm. Ken Shamrock, right?
Raven.
Jim Johnston, and Raven. Yeah, the guy who did the music, Jim Johnston.
I
He
think
needs to.
there's a code red. Drop whatever you're doing to put in Lex in April in Vegas. You have to put in Lex. We can't keep having these guys die and they not get in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Uh,
I'm sick and tired of them. I'm sick. Look, I'm gonna say this: it's Vince's fault he didn't get that guy over. I'm tired of them like scapegoating Lex. That the Lex Express was a big bomb. No, that was everyone's fault but his. Go fuck yourselves.
yeah. Yeah. So many people that actually really need to go in that have not gotten it. There's really
I'll tell
so
you.
many.
I'll tell
You just
you.
named like 10 people who are alive that still need to go in. You know?
Goldust when it's time.
Yeah, but I think Goldust is still kind of young. He's like in his 50s. He's
I
still
know, but
young.
he's watching him have a fucking stroke in the ring this
I'm
year.
thinking about people who are like on, no offense, but on death's door. You know?
Yeah, Lex is on that wheelchair.
Yeah, and like Haku's old. I think like Jim Cornette doesn't eat well, so he's like close to death's door. Demolition's pretty
Hey,
old.
Jim, it's me, Hunter. Yeah, I know we don't eat well, so we're gonna get you in this.
Yeah, is one of the Bushwhackers? Is the Bushwhackers in? One of them's still alive.
Yeah, they're in. I watched that in my mom's hospital room. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's so
Kevin
many
Nash
people.
is in twice. You got to
Yeah, that's a shame that
Stevie
people
Ray
some
is
people
in.
are in
The
twice.
Nasty Boys.
The Nasty Boys should go in, but they're. I mean, yeah, actually, he's pretty fat, so get him in before he dies. Yeah.
Brother, the Nasty Boys. Speaking of Nasty Boys, let's talk about Uncensored 95. Let's
Yes.
let's let's get into the why we're all here. Rested. Well, listen, we got a lot of Sid talk coming up. in 2 weeks, we're going to see Sid versus Diesel in your house one. So we'll be
Interesting.
doing a lot of tributes to Sid as we go through 95 WWF. But right now, we got to talk about Uncensored 95. I thought the first hour of this show was one of the first hours I've ever seen in pay-per-view history. What did you think overall? It picked
Wait,
up after that.
one of the first hours you did what?
I thought the first hour of this show was one of the worst first hours in wrestling pay-per-view history.
Interesting. I would say that 1994, if you ask me, I would say 1994 WCW was better than WWF, 100%, hands down, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are just starting 1995, and I fucking hate WCW. This pay-per-view sucked, and I want to like slap so many people in the face after watching this garbage. Okay, and I would say
it picks up not by a lot. It picks up a little once Savage walks out, but that first hour,
dude, the second hour isn't that much better than the first hour. It's pretty bad still.
Well, because but my problem with the first hour is there's no real wrestling matches that whole first hour. It's all like goofy, like angle gimmicks shit.
I mean, I don't know if you want to count the last match as a fucking wrestling match. That was an abomination.
That's barely a wrestling match either.
That was a slap in the face
match
of wrestling.
Is such a fucking insult to the fans. That match it's the second time, by the way, this fucking company has vaguely implied that they're going to have Ultimate Warrior come out and then have some bullshit. They did this at Starrcade 90 where they told Sting, it's a guy from your past, and I've been a world champion, and I fought Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 6, and then Ric Flair was the Black Scorpion. Yeah, and now
this one is even more blatant. It's like, it's so fucking wrong. Dude, this is... Everything I liked about Hulk Hogan is getting wiped away. Like, he's doing himself so much, like now, he's doing himself so much disservice that now, like, I'm like, yeah, fuck that guy. I'm at this point now where I'm just like, yeah, fuck Hulk Hogan. Fuck that piece of shit.
I mean, this is why Bischoff said to him, Bischoff went to him a year before Bash at the Beach 96 and was like, turn heel. And Hogan said no. And then they had another year of bullshit. Yeah, but I think all this bullshit is what makes Bash at the Beach 96 all the more satisfying. I mean, maybe we'll see how we feel when he's cursing all of us out that day. But yeah, this show's atrocious, man. This is not a good show.
This is a terrible show. Terrible way to start 1995. We got unsanctioned, unauthorized, unbelievable, uncensored, taking place on March 19th, 1995 in Tupelo, Mississippi. Did you know, Ray, that Tupelo has their own convention called TupeloCon?
No, I didn't know that.
And they have wrestling at TupeloCon. And next year they're gonna they've already announced who's gonna be there for next year. Bill Dundee, who is Sir William, who's he's with Steven Regal, and Jerry Lawler are gonna be headliners already. They already announced who the headliners are.
Holy shit! 1 second. So really quick, there's two. I forgot to mention that last week, but it's come out in the last few years that Bobby Heenan was drinking during these pay-per-views, right? Which is in tribute to him. I'm having a drink right now myself. Did you get the sense in Super Bowl that he was drunk? I forgot to mention that he sounded a little drunk in Super Bowl last week.
So one thing I noticed about Bobby Heenan during these WCW shows as compared to WWF shows, he stutters a lot more.
Yeah.
There's lots of times where he's rambling.
He's boozing it.
Yeah. There's a lot of times where he's rambling and he just starts stuttering. And his jokes aren't as sharp as they were in WWF.
Well, to be fair, he doesn't have a lot to work with. And I think if he just went all out, it would just bury the show.
And you know what? To his credit, even if he's drunk, he's still doing a pretty good job.
The one show that Eric Bischoff has said Eric Bischoff knew he was drunk and he spoke to him after we have to wait for this for next year. Hog Wild, not the first Hog Road Wild event. He was plastered that whole show, so look out for that. But he goes, there's other pay-per-views where Bobby Heenan is drunk, but I don't want to say which ones. But apparently Tony Schiavone also gave him shit at Hog Wild. But Bobby Heenan was like, I just think this is fucking stupid that we're at this biker rally. You didn't charge any money for the gate. I think this is dumb. So I'm dressed like an idiot. So I'm just gonna drink because you don't take this seriously. Is what he told them.
You know what though? That I like Bobby Heenan, but that doesn't make things right.
No,
It's like, hey, you know what? Like, that's not your job, Bobby Heenan, to worry about the money. Your job is to do the commentary, and even if they're not being professional, you should still be professional. That's what I personally think. That's how I look at things. But whatever.
hey, and the other thing too, while we're shitting on Bobby Heenan, did you notice that? Did you get the sense this show that Tony and him didn't like each other? Like they were annoying each other tonight. Did you get that sense?
No, I didn't really get that sense. I thought because I thought the running joke was like Bobby Heenan keeps going like whenever the heels did something wrong, he was like, "Well, it's uncensored," and then like when the good guys did something wrong, Tony Schiavone would be like, "But it's uncensored," and
There
that was
was
the
a
whole
funny
thing.
moment where Tony goes, "Well, Bobby," and Bobby goes, "I know it's uncensored." Like,
Yeah, but that's the whole thing because he said it for the good guys.
I do
And
kind of feel like under their breath they were saying to each other, "This is bullshit," because they get a little bit more and more like almost like Mystery Science Theater as the event goes on. Like Tony Schiavone, there's a really funny moment where Tony Schiavone goes, "Hulk Hogan has promised an ultimate surprise. Turns out it's just a guy called Renegade. Let's go to Hulk Hogan." It's just the guy called Renegade. That's how you. There was like some funny moments where you could tell Tony is like, "No, this is bullshit."
yeah, I think there was. I mean, I did get the sense that they both kind of was like, yeah, this is kind of stupid, but whatever. We just got to do what we got to do. I did get that sense, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this. We've got, by the way, Uncensored. It had 5,782 people in attendance, and they sold about 180,000 pay-per-view buys. In comparison, the pay-per-view, the WCW pay-per-view before that, Super Brawl 5 sold 180,000 pay-per-view buys as well. Same amount. And Slamboree, the one afterwards, will sell 110,000 pay-per-view buys. So Uncensored is doing the average. Now, you want to compare to what WWF is doing. WrestleMania 11 is going to sell, which is like, I guess, next month after this, is going to sell 340,000 buys. So WWF at this point is still doing laps around WCW's pay-per-view numbers.
Well, WrestleMania is still WrestleMania, brother.
Yeah, but still, like that Super Brawl is supposed to be theirs, isn't it? And they're only doing
no, their WrestleMania is still Starcade.
Oh, okay. Well, they're pulling in like it's not even close. It's like 180 to 340. I get it's WrestleMania, but you're telling me WrestleMania is like it's like over 100,000 more pay-per-view buys. That's pretty.
I mean, I'll tell you this: they covered WrestleMania 11. They covered the results of WrestleMania 11 on the Channel 5 10 o'clock news. That night, I wasn't into wrestling, but I kept the TV on after The Simpsons. Remember Simpsons on Sunday?
Oh, I feel
And
like you're right. I feel like they did used to cover WrestleMania results like
they showed Bam Bam and LT. They showed the match, and so WrestleMania still had a pretty good brand name as of '95, and now of course it has a great brand name. But yeah, like it was news. It was WrestleMania was news. Also, remember Lawrence Taylor. We don't watch football. Lawrence Taylor was a big deal to regular human beings. So
Yes.
him wrestling,
regular
yeah, because we're not. So him wrestling was of interest. I mean, the same thing when Donald Trump showed up. It's still the highest grossing WrestleMania in terms of pay-per-view buys.
Yeah. It would be like the
Trumpmania.
equivalent of like Tom Brady started wrestling. That's what it would have been like.
Oh yeah. If AEW gets like fucking Trump or Tom Brady to be involved, Tony Khan will get another billion. So
Yeah. All right.
I mean,
So
look at the Tom Brady
graphic,
roast, what it did for comedy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Tony Schiavone, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Mike Tenay welcome us. And they're talk about how the Hulk Hogan and Vader are going to have a strap match. And they even show a little bit of the Renegade, say Renegade's going to be in Hulk's corner. Where is Mean Gene?
I don't know. I think so. He constantly. I don't know. I know he's not at Full Brawl '96 because he quits because he wanted more money out of the hotline. He got all the hotline money. I don't know how he got that deal,
He
but
wanted
maybe
even more money.
yeah, he wanted more money and then he got it because he quits in '96 and he wants more. Somehow he got more money. He got the whole hotline money. I don't know how they agreed to that deal. Are you checking that?
No, no, no. I'm not checking that. I'm listening
But
to you.
I don't know where he is. But Mike today is not good in his role. Did you
Yeah.
notice the best promo on the show? And I think the best thing on the show, for that matter, which is Vader and Ric Flair's promo, has no fucking today. It's just those two guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to know why he wasn't at there. Well, fuck it. Yeah.
Maybe
Money
maybe he was
reasons.
training with LT.
Yeah. Maybe he was training with LT, and maybe he was boozing up with Heenan, and then it's unlike Heenan, DG was like too fucking blitz. Like I can't do this show right now. I'm just right now. Maybe that's what happened. Let's
I
go
think
to
that's what happened.
King of the Road match. I had never heard of this match before, and this is the craziest, damnedest match I've ever seen. We are not in the arena. We're not in the building. It is Dustin Rhodes and Blacktop Bully. They're outside. They're on top of a flatbed truck that's filled with hay. This long fucking flatbed, and they're just fighting. They're climbing the sides. Basically, there's a big horn, like one of these. They got one of these horns, right?
Yeah.
Like up on top, and
This
you
is
have to climb up.
remember, this is an audio podcast. Andrew Lee is holding up a red red horn. Honk it, honk it.
What?
Give it a honk.
Yeah, it's one of
I
those.
can really hear it.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, I can't really hear it.
Oh, fuck it. That's
But
weird.
it's like a truck horn.
Yeah, it's a truck horn. That's basically it's the concept kind of makes sense. It's like you're on this long flatbed filled with hay and other foreign objects, and this horn is kind of hanging, kind of like on this high bar, and you kind of have to climb up to the bar to get to the horn to honk it. And the first person who honks it wins. But the thing is this, the truck is moving. Like the truck is actually driving down a real road, and there's a helicopter flying, filming this thing. And then there's another car behind them, kind of keeping traffic away. And there's another car right next to this flatbed, filming them. And there's another car like in front of the truck, kind of keeping traffic away. This has probably got to be one of the most expensive matches ever because you gotta use a helicopter. A helicopter ain't free, right?
No, it is a ton of money spent for complete garbage.
I would say this, in my opinion, is probably one of the most dangerous matches you've been ever to.
Yeah. Well, this is I hate this match, but let's keep going.
Yeah. So Dustin, this match, it's basically like there's all this like he hits Blacktop Bully with like a fence post as Bully's trying to climb up to the horn. Dustin, he's hitting Bully with everything, bales of hay and stuff like that, a truck. And Bully, he chokes Dustin with the rope, and there's not a lot of wrestling moves in it. And while this match is happening, Tony Schiavone goes, "This is a very dangerous match, not for the wrestlers, just for the wrestler, but for the crew." I'm like, yeah, the crew. You're blocking both lanes. You're driving on both lanes because the other car is filming. What if some guy just comes down? You could just head on collision, right? It's just crazy. Yeah. Dustin then throws the truck actually starts making a turn. It goes on this one long stretch of road, but then it starts making a turn. Runs completely through a stop sign. Doesn't stop at all. Just goes right through the stop sign. Dustin actually does like every once in a while real moves in this match. Like he does a pile driver, does a side suplex onto some hay, and then Bully is climbing to the horn. But as the truck stops, slows down for something, he falls forward, and Dustin. This is one funny part where Dustin's like stumbling around as the truck turns, and Bobby Heenan says, "I've seen Dusty walk like that before," which I thought was really funny. There's another funny part where the helicopter does all these like really like far shots, right? Like really cinematic. They're like these distant shots of everything, and they get a shot of all these mobile homes. And Bobby Heenan goes, "That's a beautiful shot of the Tupelo homes, the house trailers." Right?
That's funny.
He's like shitting on Tupelo. Look at all those house trailers in Tupelo. You don't get Tupelo like this. And I was like, oh my God. When Dustin gets the trough, Bobby Heenan says, "Oh, that's what the Rhodes really eat out of. That's their dinner plate," which I thought was again his first match.
I heard that. That was funny.
Yeah, Heenan's jokes are just right out there. They're really good. This first match. There's a funny part in this match. Remember, this truck is non-stop. It's just going, running through stop sign, but it stops for a church bus. It's a part where they actually stop, and they're like, "Oh, there's a church bus, and church bus needs to go first." So legit, a church bus passes by, and then it goes again, which was really funny. Dustin crouches Billy on the top of the cage. However, basically, they're both on the top high bar where the horn is on it, and Bully punches Dustin, who falls down, and then Blacktop Bully is able to honk the horn for the win. This is a very unique. I don't think I'll ever see a match like this ever again. It's not a great match, but it's one of those matches you need to watch just because it's so out there. It's so bizarre. I've never seen a match on a moving vehicle like this before.
Yeah. I hate this match. This match ruined Dustin Rhodes' life, as far as I'm concerned. Ruined his life. I don't like it. You know my feelings about this match and Dustin Rhodes getting fired. You know, when they say like there's a fork in the road in the world, like there's a fork, like you know when like someone says like, oh, everything worked out for the best, right? Like, you know, like people will say things like everything worked out the way it was supposed to, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's true for Dustin Rhodes. I think Dustin Rhodes was supposed to stay in WCW. I think eventually he was supposed to get a huge push, and he was supposed to be the next guy. WCW was his home. And I don't think Gold Dust was ever supposed to come into creation. And I think that Dusty should have stuck up for his son more and not let him get fired. He belongs in it's you know what it's like? It's like living in a reality where Stone Cold doesn't go to WWE and instead he stays instead he gets his way. You know his pitch was to be he was going to be Hulk Hogan's long lost little brother, right? That was his idea.
You continue. I disagree, but you can continue.
I think we're living. I think that's the reality we're living in. Where Steve Austin got his way, he stayed in WCW, and he really didn't mean to the business what he meant as Stone Cold. I think Dustin Rhodes was meant to be in WCW.
I think Dustin was probably meant to stay in WCW, but I don't think, as good as Dustin was wrestling wise, I don't think he was ever going to be the top guy ever.
I think every time they kind of teased it, the fans got behind it.
As Dustin Rhodes. Why I don't see him as a top guy. Number one, and this is very important. Back in the early '90s, mid '90s, this is very important. He doesn't have the physique. That's number one. He doesn't.
But he has the Southern charm, and you can get away with that in WCW.
I don't think they wanted somebody with the Southern charm being champion.
Well, that was their fan base.
That was their fan base, but you can clearly see even in this pay-per-view, they're trying to get away from that. They want to go more national. They want to have a national appeal, and I don't think they were going to go Southern.
There's a reality where they believe in Dustin Rhodes and the whole world. There's no 9/11. The whole world is different. I'm telling you, he was meant to be in WCW and meant to win the title. I've never felt more like you fell on the wrong path in life. Like you had the sliding doors moment. Like if he had just said, "I'm not blading," everything changes. I think like I don't know. Goldust to me, I don't know, man. It's like if Hangman Adam Page said no to AEW and became like a gay clown in fucking WWE in 2019. Everything changes after that, you know?
What the fuck are you talking about? 2019 Hangman Adam Page?
But he had an offer from WWE.
Oh, he did in 2019? Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right. He was. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
They were going to get. They promised him he was going to be the top star of NXT, and then like, what if he said yes, and then like in 2020, Vince is like, "You're on the main roster, and I'm going to make you a homosexual transvestite clown," like, you know, and that's the reality we're living in for the last 4 years. You know, it's like a whole different world, and that's not what he was meant to do. He's meant to be an empty-headed dumb fuck who gets beat up by Jeff Jarrett. Maybe he should have went to WWE, but I really feel that the whole world is different if he didn't get fired today.
Maybe I think if he stayed in WCW and never got fired, I don't think they would have put the title on. I don't see it. I don't feel it. Dude, he's already wrestling Blacktop Bully. You know, he's already.
I also think he should have believed in himself more. I think like he just said to Vince, "I'll do whatever you want me to do." And I think Vince sensed that he said like when Vince gave him the idea, he was like really scared. And he just goes like, you
Mhm.
know what? I'll show my dad. I'll do the best job I can at this role. I'll show him. I'll show him doing Goldust and going that I'm just gonna say it, gay was to show his dad whatever they give me, I'm gonna work, and you should have fought for me.
I can see that because you know what he did the hell he. By the way, he doesn't regret the gold does.
Well, I
He
regret it, and I'm the only one who counts.
he fully embraces it. And he's so thankful for that role, and you gotta admit he played the hell out of that fucking role too.
Listen, maybe when I watch, I don't really like a lot of Goldust matches, except so around like if you rewatch ECW 2009, he goes back to like his old because no one's watching that ECW. Him and Sheamus have some matches that are almost like WCW early 90s. He like goes back to that work style, even though he's dressed like Goldust. So he has like a late career resurgence where he gets like really good again. And same thing when he's in the tag with Cody. But the stuff in 95 through 99, I never thought he had any good matches. Maybe I'll change my mind when we watch it. We're going to be there soon. So,
Yeah. Anyways, I think people should still watch this match just because how crazy it is.
I mean, it's different. So definitely check it
Yeah.
out. I think they should bring it back. I think Tony Khan should have Jungle Boy wrestle.
I don't think this is. I don't think this is a match you should do again. It's so dangerous.
Yeah, well, who cares? Darby Allin will do it.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, if anybody will do it, it'll be fucking Darby Allin, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Mike today he's in the back with Colonel Rob Parker, the Southern gentleman, the Southern gentleman who's always so hot. Arn Anderson and Mang, his stud stable, and this is crazy. Seems like Steve Austin's still in the stable, I think, and he's just not even featured on the pay-per-views. Sad.
Oh no,
And
he's out. He's on the pre-show of this show.
Tenay asks Arn about the yeah, but like he's still not he's not in the stable anymore.
I don't think he's like I think he's a jobber at this point.
That's so crazy, right? Like why is he a jobber at this point? What happened?
I don't know, but Eric
off?
Bischoff says point blank on his podcast, and he said it to Steve Austin's face. I didn't see anything in you. You were being an asshole. You were being hard to deal with. So it's like, I don't see anything in you. I don't think you're going to be a draw, and you're no longer fun to work with. So get the fuck out of here. And Bischoff was like, I was wrong. One of the biggest missed calls I ever had. You were a star. And Steve Austin goes, yes, but I made your life harder. I was not easy to work with. Like, even if you believed in me, I was being hard to work with, so I understand why you fired me. Looking back,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
So Austin was being difficult to work with. That's why he was just like put in like
Because Austin felt like I should be in a feud with Hulk Hogan. I should be with Macho Man. I should be, and I'm not. And then when he was a dick to Bischoff, Bischoff was like, all right, well now you're a jobber. And then the whole reason he got fired was he had to be at a taping, and they had all he was going to do was come in and cut promos. And Bischoff calls his wife, and she's like, "Where's Steve? He needs to come in and cut promos." And Steve decided, "I'm not going in if I'm just cutting promos. I'm not doing anything with you."
Yeah.
And Steve was like, "Tell him I'm not fucking coming in. Tell him I'm not home, and tell him to go fuck himself." And she just goes, "I'm not home." And he goes, "Well, tell him he doesn't have a job." And he FedExed his thing right that same day that he was fired.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Well,
it all worked out.
Yeah, it all worked out. Anyways, today I asked Arn about the boxing match he's going to have with Johnny B. Bad. And he says, you know what? It's a wrestler versus boxer. I am the best wrestler. At this point, Arn Anderson is doing the I'm the best wrestler gimmick. And
and then everyone in the indies saw it. They were like, let's do that.
Yeah. It's like I'm the best wrestler. I'm never the champion, but I'm the best wrestler. Rob Parker, he's proud, by the way, of Bully winning that King of the Road match. And now he's like, nothing's going to save Jim Duggan from Mang. And then we get a recap of the history of this feud between Mang and Jim Duggan, which is going to go to our second match. Mang is no longer a bodyguard, but he's actually wrestling in a martial arts match. Mang with Colonel Parker comes out, and Duggan, who comes out in street gear for the martial arts match. Ray Goose's favorite manager, Sonny Ono, is the referee of this match. And, oh my gosh, Sonny Ono Like, I just hate the way I just hate
You
everything
should
about it.
throw. Why
What?
is shit? Hold on. Give me 1 second, Andrew Lee. Okay,
Yeah,
1 second. Ready? Sorry about that, Andrew Lee. Keep going. You can keep going, Andrew Lee.
that's all right. We were talking. Yeah, we're talking about Sonny Ono. He is the referee of this match.
Yeah, you
I
should
hate.
protest him as an Asian man
I just
right
don't
now.
like Sonny Ono. I don't like anything about him. I don't like the way he
I don't.
looks.
No, I don't
I
like him.
don't. I don't like his name. I don't like
He's
anything about him. I don't like the way he
he's one
behaves.
of the things. He's one of the things that no matter how good this company gets, he reminds you they're small time. They
Yeah,
they
that's a good point. Yeah.
they were selling out Georgia domes for nitros, not for pay-per-views, for nitros. And there's people hanging from the rafters. And Hulk Hogan is in the main event. And then he walks out, and you're like, this is a fucking loser operation.
So there's shenanigans early on this match. Like Sonny Ono's like, bow, you gotta bow. And Jim Duggan's like, I'm not bowing to anybody. And then Jim Duggan goes, fine, I'll finally bow. And he bows to Meng, who just kicks him in the face. Jim Duggan, he's getting his ass kicked, so he takes off his boot and he starts beating Meng with it. Later, Jim Duggan grabs Sonny Ono. He's like, dude, I find you super annoying. I want to just throw you out of this ring. Right? He tries to throw Sonny Ono out of the ring, which is probably my favorite part of this match. And then Jim Duggan hits a 3-point stance on Meng, and Meng no-sells it. And then Jim Duggan starts beating on Colonel Rob Parker, and then Meng Savat kicks Jim Duggan to win this match. Terrible way for Meng to be introduced back into wrestling, but it is what it is.
This match is really bad because this is one of the matches where they insult your intelligence.
Yes.
Because they kind of act like Ming has never wrestled before. Like he doesn't know what he's doing. And it's like, no, we literally saw these guys wrestle in WWF 5 fucking years ago. Like they had matches all the Coliseum videos, on Primetime Wrestling, on fucking like I don't know. It was just like it felt very insulting. Like you think I'm an idiot. And also the rules just prohibit them from actually having a good match.
I was thinking like, oh man, we just saw a King of the Road match. We saw a martial arts match. And I'm thinking the next match is going to be boxer versus wrestler. So I'm thinking, oh man, maybe Uncensored every single match has to be a gimmick match. But then later on, there's regular matches. I'm like, why the fuck are you guys doing this? Why couldn't you guys just let Jim Duggan and Meng have a regular match? Why do you have to do this stupid martial arts match? It's stupid. It's just dumb. This is dumb. This is like, I was like, oh man.
It's just bad, man. It's
Yeah,
bad. It doesn't. You know what it is? It's like you're already making it. You put so many stupid rules in our way. You're ensuring that we have an awful match. And why would you do that to us? Because I'm actually Jim Duggan. What?
Yeah.
Did you say turn it down?
Breaking in and out a little bit, but keep going. What?
Oh, sorry. I'm Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I'm already a bad wrestler at this point. Why would you make it harder for me to have a good match?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you're having a martial arts match with like two guys who none of them really do martial arts. You know? Like Manny's not really doing martial arts. He's doing like nerve holds and shit. You know? Like it's so stupid. Anyway, let's move right along. Speaking of bad, Mike Tenay is with Johnny B. Bad and his boxing trainer, Rock Finnegan. And Johnny B. Bad says, by the way, Rock Finnegan, I had to look this guy up. It's like, I've never heard of this guy. He's actually just an actor. And I think the only thing he's ever done was play this role of Rock Finnegan. I think that's the only thing this guy's ever done.
That's it?
Yeah, I think so. He has an IMDb and it's played Rock Finnegan. Like,
oh, so he's not like an older boxer?
No, his name's
I guess they couldn't get any celebrity older boxer, so they just hired this actor.
His name's not even Rock Finnegan. It's not. It's just like they got somebody who could kind of resemble Mickey from like the Rocky movie. Basically.
Oh my god, that's fucking brutal.
Yeah. So Johnny B. Bad says he's gonna send Arn Anderson to Dreamland because he's a boxer. And then we get like a video montage of Arn Anderson. He's outside somewhere and he comes out of his truck. and it's a montage of him being the best wrestler. It's not a bad video package, I thought.
I'll say this: they had a lot of good video packages.
They did. They did have a lot of good video packages. They did. I will agree. It made it fun to watch. It made the show kind of more fun to watch. I'm a big fan of having these like video packages. I think WWE these days, their video packages are a little too long, in my opinion. They're just a little too long. They need to be like this, like short and simple. We go to match number 3. It's boxer versus wrestler, which is I think is stupid because Johnny B. Bad is a wrestler. I guess he's not anymore. Arn Anderson comes out with Colonel Parker, and Johnny B. Bad comes out with Rock Finnegan. And Bad's got his gloves on. He's got his boxing shorts on. And Bad's jabbing Arn Anderson for most of this match in round 1. These are like real boxing jabs. Round 2, Bad has pretty much Arn Anderson's number in round 1. It's like almost like real boxing matches where they got rounds. Round 2, Johnny B. Bad, he starts hitting harder punches on Arn Anderson. And Arn Anderson actually goes down about 3 times, showing that he's just taking a beating at this point. So the bell rings, and Arn Anderson's getting his clock cleaned in 2 rounds. So as soon as the bell rings, Arn Anderson just grabs Johnny B. Bad and DDTs him, right? Mm-hmm. And Arn Anderson starts attacking Johnny B. Bad while he's sitting on a stool between rounds. And he even throws him over the top rope as round 3 starts. Arn Anderson starts the wrestling party, whips him into the stool, shattering it. And then as he's beating on Arn Anderson, on Johnny B. Bad, Rock Finnegan jumps on Arn Anderson's back, which gets a big pop from the audience. The audience loves Rock Finnegan. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
During the break,
he was over, brother.
Yeah, he's over. Rock Finnegan starts cutting up Johnny B. Bad's gloves, and then when round 4 begins, Rock Finnegan puts a bucket on Arn Anderson's head so he can't see, and then Johnny B. Bad, without the glove, he punches the bucket, the pail on Arn Anderson's head, and then the bucket falls off, and then Johnny B. Bad punches Arn Anderson again with no glove to knock him out for the win. This match wasn't good, but the story of the match to me made sense, and the ending was fantastic. The ending was really good. I think this was a pretty good match for the shitty show. What did you think?
What? I hated this fucking match. I hated it.
Really?
It was an abomination.
What didn't you like about this match?
The rules, it was just boring. The rule, again, it's another match where the rules prohibit them from going all out. These are 2 great workers. And it was boring. And it just kept going.
But you have to admit the story was good, right?
No, because they should just be wrestling. It's inherently a bad story. Boxer versus wrestler, and the wrestler cheats. Johnny Van's a wrestler, and it's uncensored, right? I don't know. I didn't like it. It's just like you put a lot of things in place that make everything stink.
Well, like, okay.
Inherently, as soon as you've already made me not like the match by the rules you put in place. Because they're dumb rules. They're not for me. They're not going to give a good match.
Okay. Yes, I agree with you. You're right. Again, you're right to the point where they should have just had a regular match. I agree with that. But Arn Anderson and Johnny Bad, they're told this is the match that's going to happen. Yeah. Don't you think for their part, they were like, all right, this is if this is what we're given, this is the story we're going to do with what we're given. And I thought the story made sense. Johnny B. Bad is outboxing Arn Anderson. So Arn Anderson like hits him, like cheap shots him, like hitting him when like after the bell and shit. And then he gets dirty. So Rock Finnegan's like, all right, if he's gonna get dirty, we're gonna get dirty. And he puts a bucket on his head and stuff like that. And the ending, the fans love the ending. I gotta admit, they did it well. What I'm trying to say is you're right, it's stupid, but the players played their roles very well, and the story I thought was fun. I mean, that's just how I'm seeing. I'm trying to be.
I mean, yes. I mean, but like, it was almost like. Yeah, but like the only way to make this match interesting is that they break the rules that they've put in place. So it's like then just don't have those rules in place and just have a regular match, or have them like have a street fight.
Of course, Of
Like, the
course.
minute the match gets good and the crowd gets excited is when they stop obeying the rules that the company put in place.
Yeah,
So it's like,
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
just do a regular match
This
then.
is WCW, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's Eric
All right.
Bischoff.
Horrible first hour. Horrible first hour. They should
Once
just pack
again,
it in.
this was a really bad pay-per-view overall. Like, I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I agree. Let's move right along. We get a Randy Savage montage. And Mike Tenay, he is with Randy Savage, who references the Johnny B. Bad Arn Anderson match. And he says, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to knock you out, Tenay. And I was like, what? Why is he threatening Mike Tenay? Right? It's a very weird, crazy promo by Randy Savage, but damn it, it's fucking entertaining. I love Randy Savage promos. They're just fun. They're just like really fun to listen to, you know?
Yeah.
We're going to go to match number 4. This is our first regular match. It is Randy Savage versus Avalanche. Savage attacks right away, and Avalanche is basically no selling. He's no selling his moves. So Savage slaps him in the face again. This is a callback to the last match they had, or the last, the tag match they had. And then Randy does a top rope crossbody on Avalanche on the outside, and he slams him on the post, slams him on the steps. But he's doing all this, but Avalanche is so much bigger, and his size is just too much, as he beats on Randy Savage for most of this match. Randy Savage does fight back, and he does a double axe handle from the top to Avalanche on the outside, when a lady from the crowd just comes out and it starts attacking Randy Savage out of nowhere, and they roll Randy into the ring, and it's not a lady, it's Ric Flair dressed in drag, and Hulk Hogan runs down to make a save. This is basically a DQ, and Randy Savage wins because of Ric Flair, just like a woman, attacking him. I like this until the ending. It was all right. It was just like, it's stupid. It was like, whatever. What did you think?
I liked it too until the ending. I'll say this: Randy Savage is still moving like a killer. You know what frustrates me about this Randy Savage run so far in WCW is that he can still go. He can still really go.
Yes.
And they're putting him in situations where he has to go 150% just to make it watchable, because Avalanche is not a good worker. And I think of all the great workers they have. I mean, when he got hired, you had Terry Funk, you had Dustin Rhodes, you had Steve Austin, you have Booker T, you have all these guys that, and instead they're giving him like Hogan's sloppy seconds, and he's doing what he can, but it's like, this is kind of a waste of this guy. Like, he's still a fucking monster, bro. And it's almost like what they're doing with him is what AEW did with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. It's like, you're making him wrestle these dumb matches that no one cares about, and you're ruining what makes him special. You know?
Yeah,
although I will say this, Ric Flair dressed as a woman beating the shit out of him and Tony Schiavone, it was actually really funny, because if you don't know, it just looks like this woman is just whooping his fucking ass. That was pretty fun, though. I will say that.
Yeah. And like, it is what it is. It's just, he's Randy Savage has just.
It just feels like Hulk Hogan is putting him in a position where it's like, oh no, you're in the same fuse as me, but you get the guys who can't work while I like take the main angle, you know?
Yeah, it's like, he's like, because like Macho Man's still kind of in the mix with like the top stuff. Like, remember last pay-per-view, he was just in a tag team match with Sting. He's on equal playing field with Sting.
No, yeah.
But
he's been given nothing to work with.
It is 100% second banana.
Yeah.
You're a second banana. You're already positioned as second banana. You're not positioned as like, when he was first coming in, they were like, is Macho Man friend or foe to Hogan, right? But now he's already established your second banana. You're
he's
gonna
not just a friend, he's a bitch.
Yeah. You're gonna get my sloppy seconds, like feuds. You're just, and I'm gonna save you. Like, I save you first, right? Like, like it's just like, it is what it is. Mike Tenay, he's in the back with Harlem Heat and Sister Sherry. Stevie Ray says the Nasty Boys are gonna go and get done, and Booker T says it's the final countdown. And Sherry starts talking, and she talks way too long, and Mike Tenay cuts her off before she finishes, and she looks pissed off that happened.
Yeah, she's going a little bit into business for herself there.
Yeah, she's talking way too long. We get a recap of Sting and Bubba Rogers from starting from Fall Brawl in September 1994, where they were friends and they had to be in this like triple threat, remember? And
Yeah, I
then
remember.
them coming to blows during an avalanche match, and Bubba and basically the Guardian Angel going like, you know what, fuck this, I'm changing my name to Bubba Rogers. The whole recap, great package, kind of explaining this feud that's
They had
been
some really good packages on this show. I'll say that.
yeah, This is one of the ones where it's like one of the few ones where you get a former WWF guy and he did a really good job kind of building this feud up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we started off as allies, but little by little things kept happening, and now they just don't like each other, right?
Yeah, bro.
Mike Tenay, he's with Sting, and who just yells at Mike Tenay, and he says it's the end for Bubba. We're gonna go to match number 5, Big Bubba Rogers versus Sting. Sting starts the match by biting Bubba's fingers and putting Bubba's hat and coat on, and then he sits on the hat and he tosses the crowd. During the leapfrog, Sting hurts his left leg, and Bubba just starts working the left leg for a very long time. He goes up on top. Bubba goes on the top rope, but then he falls off, allowing Sting to mount an offense. Bubba Rogers misses a corner splash, but when Sting tries to body slam Bubba Rogers, his knee that's been worked on the whole match gives out, and Bubba falls on top of Sting for Bubba to win the match out of nowhere. It's a very unexpected ending. So unexpected that the bell doesn't even ring. That like the referee has to go, yeah, ring the bell, ring the bell. There's silence at first. The crowd is like stunned that Sting lost, and then they start booing. I liked this match, and the ending was very out of nowhere. What do you think happened?
Well, I think they kind of wanted me out of nowhere that it's a shock. I think people thought the Sting was going to have this feud with this guy. That'll be it. I like this match too. You know, Bubba Rogers has been dead in the water for about a year now in this company. It's losing to Vader. They need to build him back up, and this is a good way to do it. They had a pretty good match. Wasn't the greatest. Wait, I do have one thing. So, do you remember at the beginning of the earthquake match, or avalanche, whatever? Tony Schiavone goes, "It's uncensored, so all the matches have no rules." And then there's a DQ, and he goes, "Well, I guess there's a DQ in this because Ric Flair showed up." I'm like, I just thought you said all the matches here have no rules, and then like, but that's a fucking typical WCW. But I thought this match was good. Listen, you know, you signed this guy. You got to try. You got to try. You got to give. And I think Sting did a great job of making him look like a contender. I mean, it all fails at the end. He leaves as a jobber, but like, you got to try. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I like this. This is actually this is probably one of the better matches of this
one of the better matches.
Right? Yeah, one of the better matches. We get a package on the Nasty Boys Harlem Heat feud. As they've been feuding for a while now. And Mike Tenay's with the Nasty Boys, who just yell that we're gonna stuff the Harlem Heat in the trash. And it's followed by a quick little montage on Harlem Heat. We're gonna go to match number 6. It's a Falls Count Anywhere Texas Tornado tag match. It means everybody can wrestle all at once, and you could pin them anywhere. Sherry comes out first with the tag titles, but there's no Harlem Heat. And then Nasty Boys come out with a trash can, and they get in the ring, and they're like, "Where's Harlem Heat? Come out!" And then the Harlem Heat comes up from behind them, and they start attacking the Nasty Boys, and they beat on the Nasty Boys for a while. The boys, they fight to the back, and the Nasty Boys fight back, and they even give Sister Sherry a pit stop, and which the crowd loves. Great. And yeah, she's a trooper for willing to take that shit. Which one would you take again? Would you take a pit stop or a stink face? Which one?
The pit stop, brother.
Oh, okay. I guess I would take the pit stop instead of the stink face. I guess, yeah. Somebody's ass. I guess I don't want to ass face. Yeah. Jerry.
What a choice.
If you think about wrestling, if you think about that, it's so ridiculous. Like saying we're gonna get somebody's big fat ass rubbed in your face.
Yeah. But all that stuff was Vince though. Like that, all that shit is like Vince. That's Vince's like fucking thing.
Yeah, but it's really funny if you think about like the stuff wrestlers have to do for money.
And they can't say anything. They have to just be like, "This is great."
Yeah, you're gonna get a butt rubbed on your face.
I'm doing it for the
You're gonna
boys.
get your face rubbed into somebody's sweaty arm. All right, so Jerry Sags starts hitting Stevie Ray with the garbage. Then Sags and Stevie Ray, they start fighting to the bag to this fake concession stand. Kind of like when the Nasty Boys were feuding with Max Payne and Cactus Jack. But the only difference is this one's going to be really bad and not good at all. Stevie attacks Jerry Sags with like cotton candy. That's right, cotton candy. He attacks him with cotton candy. There's a big tray of drinks that gets spilled. I don't know why they decided to have a big tray of drinks here, but it's basically going to cause everyone to start slipping and falling because it's just everything slippery. The Nasty Boys both spray both Harlem Heat with mustard, so they're covered with mustard, and then Booker T sends Knobs into one of the stands. It breaks the stands, and it makes Booker T fall as well. And the camera is focused on Stevie Ray and Sags when the bell rings for some reason. And we turn to see what's going on. And Sherry's just facing to see what happened. And Jerry Sags shoves her really hard from behind. And she slips on the wet floor. And she falls down really hard. And if you look, it looks like she hurt her like arm, her left arm, because she like her elbow. Like she probably landed on her elbow.
She's too much in the middle of this match. She's too much getting in everyone's way. And it was kind of annoying me. I was like, you're getting in the way of spots. Fucking go away. I get that like it would make sense that a manager, but she's a little bit too much in this match. And I kind of felt like she fucked up their flow a little bit.
Yeah, maybe that's why Jerry Sags just pushes her after the bell rings. He's just like he's annoyed with her, maybe. You know?
Yeah, because it's like, like you don't use like sometimes she's just kind of standing there. She's kind of just standing there waiting for something to do, and it's like because if it was a guy, you could just fucking get the fuck out of here. But it's a woman, so they have all. It's like you're just in the way, and I appreciate what you're doing, but like you're just in the way.
Yeah. They basically tell us why the bell rang. They said the Nasty Boys won, and they showed a replay. And basically, what happened was Brian Knobs he power slammed Booker T on one of the boards from the concession stand, and they win. I think they win the titles. I'm not sure. They just walk away without even the titles. This match sucked because I remembered this kind of match happening with Cactus Jack and Max Payne that was just so fucking good.
So
That's
much
why
better.
I hated this. Yeah, so much better.
This match starts off really good, and I'll tell you what the problem was. They never left the concession stand. They just stay there, and it becomes really unruly. It becomes hard to kind of maneuver. It takes away. It becomes more like a cartoon than a hard hitting match. If you want to go to concession stand for a little bit, then go to a different area and then get back in the ring. I'm all for it. But between Sherry, I also think Sherry doesn't help. She adds nothing to the match. She's in the way. And this is before you could like fucking just hit spots on a woman and no one's gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like nowadays, like if this was a GCD, you just like fucking DDT the woman and just throw her to the side. But she's just in the way because they can't just beat the shit out of her. And then like they're slipping and they're sliding and they're just stuck in this. It's not good because of where they decided to stay. I'm like, why did you think staying here was a good idea? The match starts off great, and I'm like, we got another classic on our hands. These guys are going to save the show. And then it just fucking collapses. Not good.
I mean,
I think Sting and Bubba Ray might have had the best match of the night.
Yeah, you make a good point. If you watch the Nasty Boys versus Cactus Jack, Max Payne, they do leave the concession stand, you know?
Yeah.
But they decided, once they got there, they were like, we're staying right here. And it was like, what? It's stupid. Moving right along, Mike Tenay, he is with Vader, and Vader just shoves Mike Tenay, grabs his microphone, and he calls out Hulk Hogan. And he says, Hogan, you must pay for your stupidity, which I fucking love. And then Flair joins, and Flair still has eyeshadow on.
This promo was fucking fire.
Yeah, Flair has eyeshadow on. He's got nail polish still on. And Ric Flair says, I'm upset. I'm obsessed with you, Hulk Hogan. You know why? Because ever since I've been wrestling, all I've been ever hearing is how you're better than me in every way. That's all I've been hearing. Oh, Hulk Hogan's better than me. And then finally, when we do meet up, you retire me, right? We have a match and you retire me. Oh, and what do you think was going to happen? I was just going to walk away into the sunset after you retire me? No, I'm possessed. I'm possessed with taking you out. And you know why? You know what I thought? That's why I got Vader, because Vader is here to take you out. This is some classic fucking wrestling promo shit. This is it right here. Not just Ric Flair. Vader just shoving Mike Tenay, grabbing the mic and just being like, Hogan, I want you. Then Ric Flair coming in, explaining everything in this one. Like, he explained everything perfectly. Why he hates Hulk Hogan so much, right? And why he's all of a sudden teaming with Vader. I mean, this, in my opinion, is classic promo stuff. This is best part of the show.
This was one of my. This was a great promo, and I loved it. Vader had some great lines. Ric Flair actually looked like a menace with the fucking mascara and the nail polish. He didn't look bad with this look. He didn't look weird to me. He looked almost like he was become the Joker, It was fucking good.
At first, when he comes on, he's wearing like the eyeshadow and nail polish. You're just like, what? You couldn't even just take it off. But now, during the promo, it made all sense. He's so possessed and he's so obsessed with Hogan. Like, all that other shit is an afterthought. He doesn't have, like, I don't fucking care that I'm going crazy. I'm wearing fucking nail polish. I'm just focused on getting rid of you, Hulk Hogan. Like, I fucking loved it. This was like, does Ric Flair ever talk about this promo? Does he ever talk about how good this was?
No one talks about this.
I know he talks about his other promos and stuff, but this stuff, does he ever talk about this?
No, this is a great promo.
I get why they don't talk about the show, but they should talk about this promo. This is some good shit.
I agree. Yeah, it's a great fucking
excellent. Promo. All right. So we get a recap. We get a recap of the Vader, Ric Flair, and Hulk Hogan feud. And Hogan says he's got Hogan. The recap ends with Hogan going, "I've got an ultimate surprise for Ric Flair." He legit uses those words, "ultimate surprise." We're gonna go to our final match, the leather strap match. No titles on the line. It's Vader with Ric Flair versus Hogan, who comes out alone. Vader shoves the referee to the floor, and the crowd starts chanting for Hogan, who squares off with not just Vader, but with Ric Flair in the ring. He's outnumbered when all of a sudden you hear a rip-off Ultimate Warrior music. That whole same guitar riff, but the music's a little different. And the Renegade runs down. He's got the fucking Warrior makeup on, but instead of wearing a little tighty whities, he's wearing a singlet. He chases down Vader and Ric Flair, and he faces off with Flair on the aisle so that Flair can't come. Hulk Hogan and Vader, they just start fighting on the floor, and Hogan starts whipping both Vader, Flair with the strap. Then Renegade chases around Ric Flair some more. Then Vader bombs Hulk Hogan and chokes him with the strap. Then all of a sudden, shenanigans are going to start happening. Jimmy Hart runs down. He's got his shirt all torn up, like he was like held captive somewhere, but he's able to get free. He distracts Vader enough for Hulk Hogan to start beating Vader with a chair again, using a chair, even though he's a good guy. Flair bumps for Renegade in the ring, and then Hulk keeps beating on Vader. Then Vader gives Renegade a punch while he's outside, which staggers Renegade a little bit. But then, and he starts his comeback. But then Hulk pops up, even though he's getting a little beating from Vader. He hits his big boot, hits his leg drop, and he starts. Remember, this is a leather strap match, so you got to hit all four corners. No pinfall. He hits 3 corners when a masked man comes in out of nowhere, and he hits Renegade with a chair. This causes Renegade to be down, which allows Flair to come into the ring, hit Hulk Hogan with a chair, and Vader and Ric Flair, they start double teaming Hulk Hogan, and Flair hits. He goes back outside and hits Renegade with a chair again. So Renegade's been hitting with a chair twice. He's out. Flair comes in and he gets another chair and he smashes it on Hulk Hogan, shatters the chair on Hulk Hogan, And you know what Hulk does? Hulk no-sells this shit. Right?
That's right, brother.
He no-sells. He starts hulking up. He whips Ric Flair. Then Hulk Hogan ties. He goes, fuck this. Takes the leather strap, ties it on Ric Flair, who's not even in this match, and he touches all four corners to win. God bless you, Ray Goots.
God bless America.
Yeah. And so Hogan wins this match by tying up Ric Flair, touching all four corners. Bobby Heenan's like, this makes no sense. He goes, how is this allowed? It's Vader's in the match. Why is it okay he ties up Ric Flair? And he doesn't make any sense. But as soon as this match is over, Vader and Flair start beating on Hogan. Hogan starts fighting off both of them with no Renegade. He doesn't need Renegade's help. He can beat up both of the guys without Renegade. Then a masked man comes down.
Different masked man.
We don't know that. We think it's the same masked man.
Mm-hmm.
But then Arn Anderson comes out and he's tied up and he's like hopping out to the ring saying like, oh, they switched places with me. Turns out the masked man had switched places with Arn Anderson, who was the first masked man. And it's actually Randy Savage who turns on Ric Flair and Vader. Then it's Savage, Hulk Hogan, Jimmy Hart, Renegade. They start hugging and they celebrate in the ring. This was the worst match on the entire card, in my opinion. This was so stupid. If I was one of those old WCW, NWA fans watching this, I would have. This is a slap in my face, you know.
First of all,
and I
they
would
hate
Hulk Hogan for life.
Personally. They don't even keep the strap on half the time. The strap keeps falling off. They don't even try to pay attention to that.
They also purposely take it off, dude.
Yeah. So how is this a strap match? Second of all, Hogan doesn't even win the match because he puts Ric Flair in the corner. Like, oh, that counts. Fourth of all, Hogan has all these people on his side, and Flair only has Vader and Arn Anderson. Why did Arn Anderson also call in the rest of the stud stable, like Steve Austin and Ming, for example? Like, if he's helping Ric Flair, but I guess he's no longer with them at the end, even though he was with them at the beginning of the show. And third of all, you tease everyone with Ultimate Warrior, and then you bring this fucking idiot because you think, and this is the thing, this is what people had wrong about Warrior, and this is what people had wrong about Sid. You think you can give any moron that fucking outfit, they'll get over. And it's like, no, there's only one Warrior, there's only one Sid, there's only one Goldberg. Just because someone's big doesn't mean they're going to get over. And Hogan learned it. It's an insult. It's like, you told us you're going to have Ultimate Warrior, and then you bring out this fucking fake. You know?
Yeah, this was like Hogan this is Hogan at his fucking worst. At his absolute worst. Horrible. It's a slap in the face to WCW fans that, like, Hogan doesn't even need Renegade. He can beat up Ric Flair and Vader on his own, basically. And it's like WWF guys on top. It's stupid. You got Renegade, who's supposed to be Ultimate Warrior. You got Macho Man from WWF. You got Hogan from WWF, and they're on top. And WCW sucks. This is stupid. It's really fucking dumb. I fucking hated this, dude.
Well, WCW suck. All right. So that's it. Fuck that show. Let's review what's going to happen the next 4 weeks. Next week, WrestleMania 11, Lawrence Taylor, Bam Bam Bigelow. In 2 weeks, we got Diesel versus Sid at In Your House 1. In 3 weeks, we have the Mega Powers versus Vader and Ric Flair at Slamboree 95. And then in 4 weeks, Great American Bash 95, we have Macho Man versus Ric Flair. What are you excited about? What are you excited about?
I guess the first In Your House. What about you?
The first In Your House. Yeah.
What about you?
I've kind of given up completely on WCW at this point, being anything interesting. So yeah, those two. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there a delay on me, or is there a delay there?
There is.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's the podcast, guys. Follow us on Instagram, Ray Goots Comedy. Subscribe to the podcast. We'll see you next week for WrestleMania. Thanks, Andrew D.